Welcome to the Art Lady's home. Today I'm making stuffed zucchini using a ground roast with onions, garlic, and mushrooms. I'm dicing up that garlic bulb real fine, and I'm going to quickly saute that with some olive oil along with my onions. So I want these to be really fine in the meat here, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm preparing these zucchini. And these are Mexican zucchini. The ones at the market were a bit small, my regular dark green zucchini. For the zucchini, I'm going to cut off the ends, and then I'm going to slice it vertically right down the middle. And then I make a small slit on this end, about 1/4 inch from the end, and a small slit from this end, and then about 1/4 inch in, I'm going to just draw along the edge with the knife. And then I'm going to scoop out the centers, like so. Any center part that doesn't have a lot of seeds, I'm going to dice up and use inside my saute mix with the onions and the garlic. These aren't too seedy since they're pretty young ones. I want to go in a little bit more so that I can have a nice meat and vegetable mixture. Any of the seed parts I'm going to discard. But this small stuff I can throw into the saute. So there's what the boats look like with my ends. Right there. I've just diced up the mushrooms really small, very small. And so I'm going to saute them real quick with the onions and the garlic. This is what I'm using for the burger. What I did, ground beef, what I did was I bought a bottom round roast and I had the butcher grind it. And I'm going to use half of this. And I have 3.425 pounds. So almost 3.5 pounds. So I will use probably 1.5, almost 2 pounds of this meat, because we have quite a bit to stuff. And then if I have any leftovers, I can always make little mini meatballs and put them next to my tray. Here is the mixture that I'm sauteing right here. And I ended up using about 1/4 cup of the zucchini compared to this mixture. And I did 1 onion, chopped pretty fine, a bulb of that garlic. So that was about 8 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic. That's going to flavor this, where the meat is pretty, doesn't have a lot of flavor. The meat has very little fat in it, so the garlic's going to give some good flavor to this. And then I have a package of small mushrooms, just a very small package that I diced up. So I have quite a bit in my pan of the vegetables. I've put into the raw hamburger the diced up onions and mushrooms. That made about 1.5 cups of the mushrooms and onions. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, a little bit under a teaspoon of salt. I don't want them to be too salty. And then I'm going to do a teaspoon of onion powder. And then I'm going to do a pretty heaping teaspoon of, right here, Italian seasoning. And then I'm going to use some cracked pepper. Half a teaspoon of cracked pepper. I just ground some pepper here, and so I'm going to sprinkle that in. Now, of course, you can add your seasonings to taste. I don't like too much salt in my food. And then I'm going to lightly season these little boats before I put my mixture in. So now I'm just going to mix it all up. And like I said, this hamburger has very little grease in it because it was a ground roast and there was almost no fat on that roast. If you bought hamburger, and it's about 1.5 pounds, almost 2 pounds of hamburger I'm using. And like I said, I'll probably have leftover. But if you have hamburger that you bought already ground, sometimes that has a lot of fat in it, depending on the kind you buy. It always has fat additives to it for flavor. Even the 90%, of course, has fat in it. This is almost no fat. So I did not cook it first. But if you have a lot of fat in your burger, you might want to lightly cook it and get rid of some of that fat. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm going to season my boats. Here is the final mixture before it is going to go in the little boats. Okay, I have all my little boats ready and I started filling them. What you're going to do is take teaspoons at a time, heaping teaspoons of course, and place it in, and then I kind of pack it like that. And I'm filling. Tapping in a little. It's above the edges here. I'll show you on the side as I tap. See how it's above a little bit? One more. That might be too big. I don't want all the stuff to all fall out. Now, okay, I want to tap it so that it doesn't crumble. Okay. Now I'm going to lightly take my spoon and kind of open it up a little bit in the middle. Kind of going down the middle like that. This will help make it even cooking in the center. And also, once they're cooked, I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on top, and that'll give a little channel for the cheese to settle in. And I'm going to place them. I want them alternating. If you can, the fat end, this thin end, help the air spread through. I'm going to cook it in a convection, but if you don't have a convection, this helps give some space in between for cooking, even cooking. But I'm going to go ahead and finish filling these, and then we will pop them in the oven. All right, I had exactly enough burger to go inside the little boats. Now what I'm going to do, I might sprinkle some black pepper on top, light cracked black pepper. And I'm going to cover this because I want the zucchini to steam first for about 30-35 minutes so that the zucchini are soft. I like mine pretty soft. So I'm going to make a little tent over this and seal it up pretty good. And then I'll remove the cover. The last 20 minutes for cooking. That way it vents at least. That way it's going to steam. So I'm going to pop it in the oven at it's almost 375 oven. I'm going to pop that in for 35 minutes. They've been in the 375 oven for about 35 minutes, and now what I'm going to do is take the aluminum foil off and cook them for 15 more minutes. That way the zucchini gets nice and browned. And I do have it on a convection bake, so that bakes it a little bit quicker. They've just come out of the oven and they've browned up nice. I want the zucchinis to cook a little bit longer, so what I'm going to do is cover them again and put them in for another 5 to 7 minutes. I've cooked the zucchini so that the skins just start to shrivel up a little bit. You can see right here how they're just starting to shrivel up on the edges. You can see right in here, it's kind of, that's how I like them. Some people like them crunchier. Now, what I'm going to do is I went ahead and I'm putting cheese. So I condensed them down. I kind of pushed them in. You can see how I moved them off the pan. And pushed them in together and kind of mounded up the cheese. I'm going to do the rest of the cheese and then bake them for 5 more minutes. And here it is out of the oven. I let it cool for about 5-10 minutes. And I'm going to slice it for you so you can see. There you have it. See the little well that I made here? It really captures that cheese. So you have it in every bite. Right there. And I hope you enjoy your ground roast stuffed zucchinis. It's absolutely delicious like this. I love it because it's still juicy, real nice and juicy, and you've got all the natural flavors of the roast and the zucchini. Now another option to do this with is to substitute this cheese for mozzarella. This is cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar. But you could substitute that for mozzarella and put a little bit of sauce on top. But I just like it like this because you get the natural, beautiful flavors of that roast. So, bon appetit! And if you like it, please subscribe.